In today's video, I'm going to be providing a long-term review on the 12,000 BTU Mini Split by EG4. And the most important thing to note about this system is that it is a true DIY install. And I do have a full video on both my 12,000 BTU unit and my 24,000 BTU unit of the install and exactly how I did it. I do want to update my audience with one thing. If you've seen that video, when I installed the 12,000 BTU unit, it's a 120 volt system. There was a ground wire that I did not hook up. I reached out to Signature Solar and EG4, confirmed with the engineers there that it should be connected to the casing of the unit outside. So I did connect that. I don't have that in video, but it is connected. However, I would like to see a dedicated lug for that ground wire in the 12,000 BTU unit, just like there is in the 24,000 BTU unit. The primary reason you probably clicked in this video is to know if I would recommend it and how it performed. So I'm going to answer those questions immediately for you. I would most certainly recommend the EG4 12,000 BTU unit if you have a smaller space. And to calculate, if that is the right size for you, a general rule of thumb is 20 BTUs for every square foot. And then if you have ceilings over 9 foot, then you'd want to add 20% to that number. And that kind of gives you an idea whether that it's going to work for you or not. Now, the performance of this in our shop here has 12 foot ceilings, and this is about a 250, 300 square foot area, and it performed flawlessly in the summer and the winter. We had temperatures of up over 100 degrees in the summer and below -4 Fahrenheit in the winter. And to find the absolute best deals on these, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can check those out. I did purchase these with my own money. So if you're interested in them, those links are to the exact same ones from Signature Solar that I purchased. I did purchase the 12,000, the 24,000 BTU units, and they are both capable of running on DC, which you could hook a solar array to and run them during the day. And at nighttime, you would use the grid or your battery backups. And if you're going to be hooking them to solar, you can set up your little array kind of like this, but be sure not to exceed 380 volts. Also on your array, be sure to add disconnects so you can turn it on and off. So you can turn it off and on anytime you would like and safely work on the array. I don't currently have that array hooked up, but you would connect it directly in to the MC4 connections on the side of the outside unit. And that works great if you're looking for a solution to power it during the day directly from solar panels. I do want to offer a little bit of ideas that might get your gears turning. You might come up with a total different solution that I'm about to recommend, but this is what I'm doing. I'm running this through an EG4 6000 XP inverter. So technically, I would not have to got the solar connected version of this mini split. I could have gotten the regular one. And quite honestly, I probably should have, because I don't really use the solar connection on the outdoor unit like I thought I would. Because with the inverter, it's an off-grid inverter, it's connected those solar panels I just showed you. So it sends that energy over to the inverter, it converts it, sends it over to the batteries, does all that good stuff, right? That then is connected to a transfer switch that is up to 50 amps. That 50 amps can run this mini split, the 24,000 mini split that I have in there. I have a hot water heater in here that is 30 amps. And it basically runs this consistently with no problems. I've never had anything trip with this setup that I have. And it runs a lot. I mean, I probably have probably 50 outlets in this shop. And then we got probably 40 some lights that are on. I got my recording lights that are on right now. I got a coffee maker. I mean, I got a lot of stuff. But I don't want to get too much off onto that. But this solution that I'm about to explain to you it goes into this distribution panel. And this distribution panel is basically a transfer switch. It has a cord at the bottom of it. I can connect any power station that I would like to that distribution panel, even though it is a 240 volts. So if you watch my other videos on the channel, you know that I've connected all sorts of different power stations to that to power circuits in the shop. And if you have a 120 volt power station that can output at least 1500 watts, 2000 watts, you could run a mini split directly from that power station. So now you could charge your power station during the day. Anything that's being exceeding the power that's coming in, it would then use it to power the mini split. And then at nighttime, you would use your backup that's on that power station to power the mini split. I mean, it's brilliant of the options that we have with this. So just something to think about. I know a lot of people see it and they see just solar. Maybe you don't need the solar version. Maybe the other one's better. Overall, the efficiency is definitely better. I think this is a 22.5 SEER, and then the other that's not solar connected, that basically runs just off an AC circuit, I think it's 28 or 29 SEER. So it's much better in the SEER rating. Now let's talk about energy consumption, because I was really surprised with how little of energy that it actually uses, considering that it is connected to a 20 amp breaker. So I was figuring that 120 volts times 20 amps gives us, 2,400 watts. So I was expecting that it'd be close to 2,200 or at least 2,000 watts that would be used out of this. However, the maximum that I've ever seen come out of it is around 1,100 watts. And that's on turbo mode in the middle of winter when the heater's running full blast. In the summer, the output is similar, but it just doesn't run as much. So depending on how much you're going to be running this will determine how big of a battery bank that you would need if you're using it as a battery backup system. So the cool thing about this is you can have it connected, like I was just speaking about, through the actual power station and through an array for that. And you can have an array for this that's dedicated just for the mini split that's connected directly into it. So you can have two systems connected to this one mini split to ensure that you're using the sun power during the day, DC direct to run your AC or your heater. And then at nighttime, that power station would kick over and then use the power out of that battery bank. So you wouldn't have to have a super large battery capacity to make this work. And you can also operate this with the app. And I'm not going to get into too much about the app, but it is pretty intuitive and you can operate almost every function on the mini split with that app. So you could turn it on or off, you could set schedules, you can actually limit the AC that's going into it. You can change from heat mode to cold mode. You can do basically anything that you want to do on the app. It does come with a remote as well. And that's right here. I should show that because some people will not be using the app, especially if they're doing off-grid. So you can use it just with the remote. You can turn it on or off. You heard it beep. It gives you indications that it's been turned on or it's been turned off. So let me make sure to turn this off because I don't want it on right now. But you have different options with this system. So you can manage it from anywhere in the world, or if you're going to be in the same room as it, use the remote control to take care of it. Now let's discuss the noise levels that the mini split puts out, because typically you're going to have this in an area that you may be setting in or you're working in or something of that sort, and you don't want this extremely loud. So I have a sound meter and I'm going to take a sound test on this set at the highest level. Right now, it's the loudest it could possibly be. It's set on turbo mode. I gotta stop talking because it's gonna pick me up on this, but let me show you what the reading is on this. So when I turned around and looked at it, it was around 43, 44. That is very low set on turbo mode. Now, I do want to discuss the outside unit as well because it is extremely quiet also. So typically with these systems, the outside units are kind of annoying. This one, you don't even know it's on until you get right up on top of it. You cannot hear it, say from 15, 20 feet, you can't hear it. If you get right up on it, you can barely hear the wind or the blades turning the wind. So it's extremely quiet out there as well. So as far as the noise test goes, this thing passes 100%. Now that we've determined, even set on the high mode, that it's extremely quiet, let's take a look at what it looks like when it's set on low, you can see that it's turned on right now. Everything's operating. It's blowing out hot air. Let's see how low the reading is. So I'm not even getting a reading on my sound meter because it is not picking up any ambient sound. So it's not even picking that up. And I'm only, what, 5 or 6 feet away. It's right above my head and there's no sound that it's picking up. So that's awesome. That is a true silent system. And the last thing that I want to talk about is how fast it actually brings this room to temperature. I know that may be important for a lot of you all because, like me, I don't use this during the night. So when I come out to the office in the morning, I need to bring this to temperature rather quickly. So I can either turn it on from the house or wherever I'm at through the app, or I can come in here and turn on the remote. And it only takes me roughly 10 minutes to bring it to temperature on a day like today. So outside, it's around 36, 38 degrees out. Inside, it was around 60 degrees to start, and I wanted to bring it up to around 70 degrees. And I was able to do that in 10 minutes. And you should be seeing that right here on the side. So that is really quick to bring a room of this size with this height in it to temperature. And then I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. I can turn it on low like this right here. It'll maintain the temperature with no problem. And it does exactly the same in the hotter months as well. I've tested it many times to make sure that we're having no variance in that to be able to bring you these results. I don't have the video of that. You just have to take my word on it. But I did want to show you that it can bring the temperature up to that within 10 minutes. And it can also do it bringing the temperature down. So let's say that the temperature in here was 70 degrees. I'm going to bring it down to 60, 10 minutes. So basically a minute per degree in my space. And my primary objective with this video was to provide you with quality information that maybe you would find very helpful making a decision whether this was right for you or not. Hopefully I was able to do that. If I did, smash the thumbs up button. Let me know in the comments below, and I hope to catch you in my next one.